Welcome one, welcome all. I am back. I am Goose the Grey here with another solo queue cast from the Diamond 1 ladder with a lot of ex-Challenger players, as you can see, 4 of them actually on the one team, 1 on the other one. So it should be a pretty good game. It's actually a ranked 5v5, I only just realized. It's mYinsanity EU versus Take All. So I'm actually butting into team practice here. Should be pretty interesting. Let me just write down the names, because then I can actually do this properly. I can actually edit the overlay. This is cool. So the red team was Take All, and the blue team was mYinsanity EU. I can attach that to the end. EU. Bam. Alright, cool. So, ranked 5v5s on the ladder with a lot of Challenger and high elo players. Should be very interesting to watch, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. This is what you have cool friends in your friends list for, guys. So you can spectate games like these. So I'm just going to rearrange my champion icons real quick so everyone's lined up the right way. Probably this way around. Alright, and we are now onto the Rift. All the players have bought their items, are moving out, except for Ezreal and Riven. That will come shortly. I'm sure they're just AFK for a short minute. And looking at the two teams, we will have Yasuo on the blue team in the top lane, up against a Riven. Then in the jungle, it will Jarvan trying to out-jungle of I. In the mid lane, it will be Gragas battling Lissandra. And in the bottom lane, we will have Ezreal and Thresh matching up against Leona Lucian. And right now, we actually see the blue team very bold here towards that middle river bush, and they're going to keep moving. Are spotted out by Lucian, so the red team does know that the blue team is there. Take All already aware of mYinsanity EU's movements. They do have the rest of the team there as well, and Ezreal is actually late, so it was a very bold maneuver from the blue team. They only throw the standard in there in the end. Back off. Doris dancing in the mid lane on is Gragas, kind of taunting the enemy. And everyone just gonna be careful for now, looking what the enemy is doing. One thing that's really changed now that everybody's got those warding trinkets, nobody ever starts with wards at level 1 anymore, and instead they just don't put down wards anymore. And this results in a lot less level 1 vision, and people generally don't know where you go anymore and whether there are lane swaps and all that. So oftentimes they'll just be very, very careful, and it does look like Lissandra is going top after all. Going to be matching up against that Yasuo, and Gragas fighting Riven in the mid lane. No, actually, it's the other way around completely. They also sent Gragas to the top lane. So we'll have the APs matching up top. The Flay sadly misses from Thresh, so not much more going to happen onto Leona there, and Riven already going aggressive onto Yasuo. Gets a couple hits in, takes a couple back as well, though, and Yasuo actually coming out ahead on that trade. So Yasuo, a good guy to duel with Riven early on. I haven't seen him the past week or so due to being disabled because of that bug that was affecting him. Now with all of the players in their lanes, Jarvan actually started with his blue and is going to move towards the bottom half of the map, whereas Vi is moving towards the top. So they're not going to meet in the same lane early on, and Gragas putting a lot of damage down just with the auto attacks onto Lissandra, and then with a body slam to follow that up. If he had had his barrel, that could have already been a lot of aggression. He does have his ignite as well, but the early level 2 goes over to Lissandra. So we'll see whether Gragas attempts anything. And Thresh and Ezreal putting on a lot of pressure early on in this bottom lane as well. Leona, of course, wants to be the aggressor, but they're not the ones getting the early level 2. Thresh and Ezreal instead coming out ahead on that one. And it's kind of interesting that Gragas actually went for the early Dorn's shield rather than the Dorn's ring, and is still doing fairly well for himself. And here's a Zenith Blade engagement from Leona, just going to be flayed back. Very nice flay out of Thresh there, keeping himself safe, and a lot of damage onto this mid lane, and Jarvan's coming around. There's not much he can do, though. I would be very surprised if they went for an early tower dive. Instead, they're just doing a little bit of damage to the towers, but of course with the most recent patch, killing middle and top outer towers has gotten a lot harder due to that added basic attack damage reduction. So they're just going to back off, but we see early CS leads develop both in the middle and the bottom lane for the red team, for the blue team, of course, mYinsanity. They're here with a slight upper hand. Jarvan still hanging around that mid lane. Vi now in the back wings as well. Might be looking for something. Death Sentence lands onto Leona, but that's under the tower. I don't think they'll be following that up very much. Just throwing another Mystic Shot out there. Doing a little bit of extra damage. Of course, one of the things you want to do against Leona is get her so low she doesn't dare engage anymore. But Yasuo going very hard onto this mid lane, but Vi's coming around as well. The Ignite is down onto Riven, and Yasuo is still trying to get the last Q in, but now he's ignited, has to flash away. Nicely done, but he did use both his flash and his Ignite, but he survives the gank. Ignite was used by Riven as well. She still has her flash, and now the Death Sentence missing in the bottom lane. The Flay still landing, but that's a little bit of damage. Oh, the Zenith Blade actually comes in. The Shield of Daybreak as well. Now the Ignite is down at the Thresh. He's flashing. He flashes away. There's another flash out of Leona, getting the auto attack down. There's a Flay, but Vi is around the corner. That's first blood in favor of the blue, in favor of Take All. And now mYinsanity is trying to get their Ezreal out. The barrier comes out, and here's Jarvan. Doesn't quite get the knockup. Doesn't need it either. Gets that kill onto Vi. Nicely done, actually, with a 2-for-1 then in the end. Yasuo battling under his tower, and that tower hit onto Riven, and that's going to be the kill. Wow, that was really, really close. One auto attack either way, and Yasuo comes out on top. Nicely done there. That was a flash expended from Riven as well. She really wanted that kill. Got a little bit too greedy, ate that tower hit, and Yasuo with his dash was able to finalize that kill for himself. Shoves the wave, and is now going to go back to buy his items. Gragas, meanwhile, in the top lane, trading very well for himself. Already took back more than half of Lissandra's HP, and she's going to be forced to go back home. Did not go with the teleport this game. We've seen Lissandras do that in the past. And actually, one thing that is very, very interesting here, Thresh just picked up the Relic Shield as a second item. He started out with that Doran's Shield, and now he's gotten the Relic Shield as well. And I mean, after the most recent changes to the Relic Shield, we've had it so that ranged champions don't get the Execute anymore. I can't imagine him having not played in that long to not know that. Instead, he has to actually last hit minions in order to transfer the gold to his AD carry. Not new, innovative, and I'm really looking forward to see how that plays out in that lane. Now, Ezreal going to go back. Of course, he did stay in the lane. Has now got a 20 CS advantage over Lucian, who came back with that Vamp Scepter. And Yasuo and Riven going at it again in the mid lane. Yasuo already picked up that Zeal, whereas Riven only with an extra Doran's Blade Award and a couple health potions. So Yasuo overall should have the advantage in that lane. Is also already level 6, whereas Riven is still level 5. Shouldn't be too long now before she levels. I think with the next wave she'll manage. Then we'll really see those two guys in mid going at it. That's a nice start for Yasuo early on, though. He's a very snowbally champion if he gets ahead a bit. And Riven is really one that gets pretty dangerous if she picks up a kill, so Yasuo has to be careful with her. He does try to do a little extra damage. She's going to back off, and Gragas apparently actually disconnecting here. This could be bad up in that top lane, because Lissandra free farming for a while would not bode well for the blue team. They might have to send Jarvan up there just to hold that tower. There's a huge minion wave as well. Gragas' bag is hopefully soon going to walk back towards that top lane as well. He did pick up a Kindle Gem for the start. This is a really interesting Gragas build, actually. Not going for any AP whatsoever early on, and instead just out fighting that Lissandra even so. And now Yasuo in a lot of trouble, going very low. The ultimate from Riven surely going to come out. Finalize that kill. That was a beautiful wind wall out of Yasuo, saving him for the time being, but the tower does not do enough damage. Riven going to be able to walk away. Wow, I have never seen a wind wall like that. He stopped the Riven ultimate with his wind wall. That was ridiculous. But not enough to save him after all. He does go down, and now that is a 1-1-0. Riven very happy with herself. Got that kill. Of course, the Ignite on Yasuo not quite up just yet for that fight. Bot lane, meanwhile, still trading back and forth. Ezreal already level 6. Both Lucian and Leona aren't yet, so as soon as Thresh hits 6 as well, I expect them to go in. And Ezreal already has that BF sword, so they do a lot of damage. But Vi is now hanging around the corner. They smell that engagement coming. She might try to go over the wall, but there's a ward in that bush, so if she does do that, she's going to be spotted out. There, now Ezreal and Thresh do know that she is here. She has Assault and Battery up, so she could try to go for the engagement. Leona is now level 5 as well. Once Lucian hits 6, that may be the ghost signal, but Ezreal and Thresh, of course, being very careful right now. They know what's going on, and Lissandra actually wasting a little bit of her time trying to roam mid. There was a ward that spotted her as well, and the Lantern going to save Ezreal for the time being. The Death Sentence sadly not landing onto Vi. Jarvan was in the back lines of that, so they would have gone for the fight if they had gotten it. He's still hanging around in that bush. Not sure if the red team spotted them out, but They're being pretty careful. They do know, of course, that Ezreal is still that level ahead. If the Death Sentence lands here, there's Thresh. The Flay lands. Another hit lands. The knockup from Jarvan does not land, and the Death Sentence actually misses as well. But Leona still has nowhere to go. Is going to go down. Jarvan picking up that kill with the red buff. Now Yasuo in the mid lane has to be careful. Is going to be able to escape, though. Riven doesn't have her ultimate yet. She does have Ignite. Gragas is making his way down there. He could get caught because Lissandra followed up that roam and is now on her way as well. Jarvan coming over to the mid lane as well. This could be a 3 versus 3 even. There's a ward right in front of the bush in which Lissandra is sitting. So the blue team will know that she's coming around now. Spotted her out. Oh, and Gragas actually going in for her. The snare came out, and there's the Cataclysm. She's knocked up as well from the explosive casket. Yasuo instantly going in on that, picking up a kill for himself. Nicely done from mYinsanity EU. Picking up that kill there, really capitalizing on the roam from Lissandra and that ward that Gragas placed there with his trinket. Just paying dividends right there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Thresh and Ezreal had pushed Leona and Lucian off the tower, and were farming the wave behind it. Did a little bit of damage, and of course, beautiful Flay out of Thresh once again. Denied the Leona engage, and Lucian is very, very low here. It does look like Ezreal and Thresh just going to go home and back away. Everybody in that bot lane has all their summoners except for the Ignite on Thresh. That's not going to be the biggest issue if it were to come down to fight. Those barriers and flashes on the AD carry so crucial after all when it comes down to a real engage. And now at the 10-minute mark we take a look across the board, and it's 5-2 in kills. 2,200 gold in favor of the blue team. No towers have gone down yet, just a little bit of damage on a number of them. Top lane currently Gragas a little bit ahead, 7 CS. Still going with a pretty tanky build. This could be a full tank Gragas. It's really interesting. Looking forward to see how this plays out for the remainder of the game. He's gone for a Kindle Gem, a Negatron Cloak, and that Ruby Crystal. And the mid lane, both of these junglers very even. Jarvan, of course, has 2 kills already. Vi's picked up 1. Both of them have had a nice effect on the early game. Yasuo 15 CS up on Riven. As that Zeal, and he goes in after his Q, but that's dangerous. Here's the Salt and Battery coming in. Riven is there as well. A lot of damage. Now Lissandra coming around. The Riven ultimate doesn't quite kill him yet, but the Lissandra ultimate keeps him in place, and Riven finalizes that kill, picks him up, and now Jarvan actually forced to flash underneath his own tower. Vi taking a lot of tower damage back, but not quite able to take the kill. The Solar Flare actually misses, and this is now the attempt by Ezreal and Thresh to take out Lucian. Lucian with his barrier going to be safe. Barriers were traded, and now with Lissandra and Riven making their way down to the bot lane, this could be dangerous for Thresh and Ezreal. The red team could also try it and decide to try a dragon. Gragas is making his way down there as well, though, so it would be a 5v4. Yasuo is already back alive, making his way over there as well. Jarvan could be caught. Nice stun from Riven, and now Thresh and Ezreal hanging around the side as well. Red team hasn't started the dragon yet, and now Gragas is around the corner. Jarvan is recalling, though, so the jungler from the blue team not going to be available. And Take All does decide to be careful and back off for the time being. This could give the chance over to the blue team, though. They may be as bold and start dragon without actually having a jungler there, but there would be a lot of vision on it from the red team, and there are junglers hanging around. Jarvan now, after going back, is on his way out as well. A lot of wards around that dragon area. 5 green wards, 5 sight wards, stealth wards from the blue team, plus a vision ward, and Yasuo may get himself caught yet again. There's a vault breaker from Vi. She doesn't quite go in, and here's Yasuo with his ultimate, but the explosive cast, what a flash out of Riven, keeping herself safe, getting knocked back to safety then from the Gragas barrel, else that would have surely spelled death for her. But as it stands, she does get away. Nicely done by her, and Gragas just going to go back to that top lane, keep battling Lissandra with his tank build up against her, almost Zanya's. We do see the first big items coming out there, and now Yasuo and Jarvan trying to take down that dragon. Doesn't look like they were actually spotted out by the ward, or the red team has just completely given up on it. Anyway, it's an uncontested dragon for the blue team. They're expanding their gold lead to a solid 3,000 at this point. Static Shiv done on Yasuo. He's going to love that. It's really one of the core items you need. And then the Bloodthirster is almost done on Ezreal already as well. He's 102 with 100 CS right now, 20 CS up on his opponent. He's going to be pretty happy with that. See where he can take it, whether he can transition that. And really, Gragas, his base damages are so high. With that body slam, he does so much damage to Lissandra that she just really can't do much against him. And he actually hasn't skilled his barrel yet at all. All he's been leveling is his Drunken Rage and that body slam. That's why it does so much damage. It's a very unconventional way to play Gragas, and I'm really loving this. With basically only body slam and a tank build. It's cool. I love seeing players innovate new things, playing champs differently than the generally accepted meta. So this is pretty cool. Ezreal and Thresh still looking for the trades down on the bottom lane, but if Leona lands a solid solo flare, this fight could very quickly turn in the red team's favor. Takeall could easily pick up a couple kills down there, and suddenly the momentum could shift in their favor. But we do see another engagement in the mid lane, and there's the Cataclysm. That's going to be a kill onto Jarvan again. Sadly, Yasuo not picking that up, but this time around it was Riven that overextended a bit, stuck around a little too long, and Jarvan flagon drags himself in there, gets the kill. Going to be pretty happy with himself with that, and Vi currently trying to pick up her blue buff. Jarvan actually coming around, trying to steal that. He did smite it, and now Vi actually in a lot of trouble. Yasuo came in there as well, and Vi over the wall does flash away. Is going to be safe, and here we saw the solo flare coming out of Leona. Ezreal very low, is going to go down to Lucian, and now Thresh has to try and get away. Nice Flay interrupting the culling for the time being, and he tries to go back the other way because he knows that he has Jarvan incoming. Is he going to be fast enough? Nice death sentence onto Lucian. That's going to spell death for him. No way he can escape this angry Jarvan. There we go, the Dragon Strike finishing that one off. The question is, can Yasuo pick up Leona on her way out? Riven and Vi, meanwhile, trying to push in that mid lane, and Gragas stealing away the enemy red buff. Nice job by him, using the explosive cast right afterwards to get Lissandra out of there. Leona is trying to get herself executed onto the tower. It does look like she's going to be able to. Yasuo already backing off. They're saying, okay, you outplayed us on this one, and Riven, meanwhile, get a lot of free damage on that mid tower. Really nice play from her. Good call, and good call from Leona as well, making her way out of there despite Lucian getting caught. That was a 1-for-1 trade in the end. 80 carries both going down. Don't think the blue team is too unhappy about this game right now. 4,000 gold in the lead. Now they have to capitalize on it. They have to get the item advantages, and once they have those, they have to make them count. Right now, the first item is done in the mid lane. Riven doesn't have her Bloodthirster yet, whereas Yasuo has his Static Shiv. So they're going to take down that middle tower. 2-0 in towers now for the blue team. 7-4 in kills. What can they do? Red buff picked up by Jarvan. He's going to be able to slow people down again. And at this point, we have a 10 CS lead in the bottom lane, a 25 CS lead actually in the mid lane, and another 15 in top. The blue team just overall doing better in each individual lane. Jungle is dead on even CS-wise, but it's a 4-0-1 Jarvan. Jarvan is one of those junglers that are able to make early game impacts, and he's really been trying and working on it. On this bottom lane, we see Ezreal actually finished off the Bloodthirster and then is going for the Sheen and then the Trinity Force, whereas Lucian decided to only pick up that Vamp Scepter and is now already building that Trinity Force, has the Phage and the Sheen already completed. We have 4 members from the red team hanging around that mid area, looking to make something happen. And blue team may be a little slow to respond to this. This mid tower could be going down at this point. Does look like Riven is a little bit scared, backs off right away. That red buff proc scared her a nice amount, and in this bottom lane we have the duel of the 80 carries, and Ezreal doing very well for himself. The culling coming out, and he still just chases, misses the Mystic Shot though, and now he's going very low, pops the barrier, and both of them couldn't survive. The Death Sentence lands onto Leona. Is that the target they wanted? Yes, they go in. A lot of damage coming down. The solo flare though might be able to save her. There's the Ignite. The explosive cast came around as well, and Jarvan picking up that kill. Now can they make more happen? No. The Path of Frost, or Glacial Path, what was it? Glacial Path from Lissandra gets herself to safety. Now Jarvan looking for the kill onto Lucian, not going to be able to get it just yet. So nice trades there. Now it is a 5-0-1 Jarvan. And it's a little bit of a shame because getting all those kills onto someone like Yasuo would be a lot better. But in the end, Jarvan has now built a Brutalizer, and he's going to be having quite an impact on the remainder of this game as well. So I think they're still going to be okay with that. And Yasuo has that BF Sword done now as well. They're getting their items done. And Riven is still working with that BF Sword and the Vamp Scepter. They're not getting to the same item advantage that the blue team has. They're trying to engage right here. Vault Breaker coming out. There's Assault and Battery onto Thresh. They're trying to take him down. Gragas tries to stick around though. Nice amount of damage back onto Vi, and now here's a fight that Lissandra ultimate came out. Everyone going very, very low. Yasuo may be taken out here. Yes, Lucian does pick him up. Jarvan was around the side, isn't quite there yet. Ezreal's in the top lane pushing that. Riven going under the tower. The tower is still alive. Thresh here with nice jukes is going to get finished off though after Leona landed that Zenith Blade. Riven flashes after Gragas. She wants this kill, is not going to be able to get it though. The middle tower goes down in favor of the red team. Can they make more happen? Can they dive this inner turret as well? Ezreal taking down the top outer, but an inner turret for an outer is not worth it. Ezreal, you need to be with your team. The solo flare goes down. Jarvan did get slowed, does not have any mana, is going to go down here in favor of the red team as well. Nice explosive cast knocking Leona back into the base. That may be a kill onto her, but meanwhile, so much of the blue team's base just went down. They lost 2 towers in that mid lane, and even though they do pick up Leona on the backside of that, it is now 9-7 in kills, so they're still ahead, but they just lost a couple of their advantages. It's 3-2 in towers, and there's more money in the bank for the red team as they can still take down the top outer and bottom outer, as Vi may be getting herself caught here, doesn't have mana either, but the death sentence did not quite land, but this could be a free dragon for the blue team. Now Yasuo coming around, they want to chase this, they want to get the kill onto Vi, they want to take out the enemy jungler so they can then go for an uncontested dragon. Gragas just walking through that river bush. I do think he was trying to take out the pink ward. No, he may have actually not seen it, but now the rest of the blue team coming around. This is going to be another uncontested dragon for them in their favor. This will put the gold lead at just over 4,000 gold again. Where will the blue team go with this? They just had a fight that pretty much got turned around on them, and they lost 2 towers because of it. They cannot afford to do something like that as well. That keeps happening. This game could very quickly just swing its momentum in a 180-degree sweep and actually come back to bite them. So right now, Lucian has that Trinity Force done. He's working on a Blade of the Ruined King next. Riven has that Bloodthirster done. He's already got the pickaxe and the longsword, working towards that last Whisper. Now Lysandra almost has Zonya's Hourglass completed. Vi with the Giant's Belt as well. The red team is accelerating. Take All is getting their big items done. And the next fight will be crucial, and really, mYinsanity EU does currently not match up to that. I mean, they've got an advantage, but they don't have the items to show for it yet. As here, there's a catch onto Ezreal. He has to flash away. Is he going to be able to turn it around? There's Yasuo coming in now. The Solar Flare came out as well. Riven going very, very low. Has to not survive. And Yasuo picks up 1. Can they get more? The explosive cast coming out. Leona getting knocked back. She's going to go down after the flag and drag by Jarvan. He picks up another one, but at least there were 4 assists going over to the rest of his team at this point. Leona not worth as much. 0-6-5, not having the best of games, but I don't think that really has the biggest of impacts. The blue team going to turn and instantly race for a dragon. The red team realizes this. They pinged it, but are they able to do anything about it? Vi has her Assault and Battery. She's got Flash and she's got Smite. They can definitely contest this. Blue team is taking it down rather quickly, about a little bit more than half its HP, and the red team actually decides we're not going to be contesting it. Backs off. Does their own red buff, and the blue team picking up the Baron here. That's going to give them a nice amount of advantages and really give them a nice power boost for the next 5 minutes. They're now 6,500 gold ahead. It's getting more and more. What items are they gonna pick up with this? Surely it's gonna be a Sunfire Cape for Gragas in the top lane. He's already got the Spirit Visage completed. This is a full tank Gragas. Something I have not seen in a very, very long time. But it's working out for them so far. The question is, can they transition this well into the late game? There's Jarvan trying to build up that Randuin's. Doesn't quite have it yet. There's Yasuo, 3-3-3, 167 CS. Definitely still beating his lane opponent, but he hasn't quite had the impact he's needed to have. Now that he's got that Infinity Edge, I think he'll be able to do a lot more for his team. And Ezreal really needs a couple of items now as well. He needs that Trinity Force completed. He's got 2,000 gold in the bank. It's going to be almost enough, I think. Oh, he's already got the Ruby Crystal, so that's going to be his Trinity Force completed as well. And that puts him ahead of Lucian once more. And then we have, of course, the Talisman of Ascension done on Leona. The Face of the Mountain completed on Thresh. And now the blue team tries to barrel down the mid lane, surprise their opponents. The minion wave isn't quite with them yet. Of course, the wave clear from mYinsanity EU, pretty strong here, but the red team doesn't decide to engage. The Zenith Blade already came out. There's the explosive cast. Nice Lysandra ultimate in the middle of the enemy team, and the Cataclysm actually just keeping enemies back. Now Lysandra gonna go down after her ultimate ran out. She didn't even use her Zonya's yet, and that was really the red team making the call to back off. Take All did not want to keep fighting that, and now mYinsanity EU face tanking this tower. Ezreal taking a nice amount of damage during that, but they're going to be able to pick up the first tower. Now with the minion wave coming in, maybe they're going to be able to move in onto the inhibitor tower, and of course they do have Baron. Their regeneration rates are pretty nice. On top of that Bloodthirst on Ezreal, he's going to regenerate that HP that he's just lost. Now the mYinsanity already moving in onto that inhibitor tower, more than half its HP gone. It's going to go down right here. Now Gragas is the focus again. Why Leona? That's not who you want. It's a tank Gragas. He doesn't do damage. The nice death sentence lands onto Lucian. Lucian flashes into the box. Not going to be able to get away from that. Jarvan, for good measure, puts a Dragon Strike into the corpse's back. That's going to be an inhibitor down after a nice fight by the blue team. mYinsanity EU really making it count here, making it stick with that Baron, and that's what they had to do. They had to pick up big advantages with this. The death sentence landing onto Vi, and they're going to go back in. The body slam came out of Gragas, but of course he doesn't really have any damage anyway. His barrel's barely touching, barely scratching Vi. But Ezreal picks up the kill onto Riven, and now Riven is down. Vi tries to pick up a kill under the tower, but Gragas is so beefy. Tanks the tower forever and a day, doesn't even care. That was another kill. Yasuo picking that one up. And at this point, it's 16-7. Ezreal actually in the middle of the enemy base. There's a surrender vote off the red team. Take All gives up the game to mYinsanity EU. GG, well played. And just the red team, Take All had a chance for a very, very long time. And then all of a sudden, mYinsanity EU were like, okay, we have to make things happen now. We've got an advantage. We need to get that last item, then force the Baron, then force the fight. And they did so beautifully. That was very well done by them. And they deserve this win now with 11,000 gold in the bank, 5-2 in tower, 16-7 in kills, 24 minutes and 14 seconds in. They pick up the win. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you will come back. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Then you can follow my Twitter. I will put the link into the description, and I would very much appreciate it if you did. You'll get updates from me, and of course, whenever I upload new videos, you'll see that notification as well. I will be doing more of these casts in the future, and I'm really having fun with it. So if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments. I'm always looking to improve and get even better. Yay! Anyway, I hope you had a good one, and I'll catch you on the flip side.